Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is G, and we are going to the next degree. This is the 3 degrees of Aquarius. So there are already 3 videos out, 3 videos before this because it's starting at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So if you haven't seen those, I will link the Aquarius videos down below. Yeah, it's going to be important to make sure that you've seen those so that you know what's going on. Um And it's also important to watch them all, not because, of course, it's helpful to watch all the videos on the channel. It's really more about getting the information into your hands. Um, is that you'll see the progression of growth from 1 degree to the next. Okay, many times you guys will have heard me talk about, when something's at a low degree, it's at an infant stage, and then it grows up with each degree, and then when we get to, like, the last 5 degrees of a sign, because every sign holds 30 degrees, right? When we get to the last 5 degrees, it's like the master degrees. Some say the last 10 degrees are the mastery degrees, mastery level, right? So yeah, I think that it is interesting to see the growth process, to see how it all begins. And it helps you to understand it better because it's like, where did I come from? What's my past? You follow? Because you all have 0 and 1 and 2, 3 degrees in your chart somewhere. We all do. So this is 3 degrees of Aquarius. And here's the visual we're given. A deserter. Let me rephrase that. Here's the visual. Here's the visual we're given. A deserter from the Navy. Wow. I must say right off the bat, that just shocked me. A deserter from the Navy. The keynote: the individual's self-realization through a crucial repudiation of a collective status which has become unbearable. You get it? The individual's self-realization through a crucial repudiation of a collective status which has become unbearable. So someone's like, hey, I feel like serving, Aquarius energy. It's group energy, the Navy, right? I'm serving a country, the Navy, the armed forces. And once they're in the collective, their independence, they feel their own independence being within that group. They feel their own individuality is either squashed or they're living by somebody else's rules and they just can't bear it any longer, right? Well, let's see what he says. This symbol recalls the one for Scorpio at 21 degrees. But the fact, some of the wording is strange, bear with me, but the fact that actual desertion is emphasized and referenced is made to the Navy. It suggests that the crisis symbolized here is one implying an irrevocable change of status. The man refuses to accept the type of cultural patterns derived from his society's specific approach to local circumstances and to the universe as a whole. And in another sense, from its particular relationship to the all human collective unconscious. Now, I want to stop right here for a second because I want to put my 2 cents in, my G sense. I didn't know I had G sense, but I guess we got G sense inserting here. So I've been feeling this for the last year, and it is the caution, not fear, but caution of group energy. Because I feel you guys have heard me talk about incredible tiny homes, right? And how if you're living in a tiny home, there's the idea of group energy involved there. And it's new and it's cutting edge and it's different because people don't want to live in these big honking homes anymore. It's like, what a waste. Why do you need that much space? It's downsizing, and it's also a way of having individual power. Like if I go off grid, I've got my own electricity, or I'm solar, whatever it is. We're doing things in a more independent way, yet it's within the collective, you see? So when we're within a collective, and how are we in a collective? Because if you're in a tiny home, you don't have to be in a tiny home community, but many times these homes can't find a location. They're not allowed. They're not legal, right? Like towns have rules and regulations. And so in some places, they're not legal to be in those locations. Okay. And so they find that they have to literally develop land to create tiny homes. And a lot of folks, maybe they want community, they want to start fresh, so they want to be within a tiny home community somewhere. So my point is, you're in a community, right? So within those communities, it's like people who have the homeowners associations that they're involved in, whether they live in a condo and there's a homeowner association, or they live in a gated community and there's these special rules because these are the rules of the community. And so they sometimes have, they have their own parameters, they have their own guidelines, they have their own unique structure. Aquarius energy. Totally. Totally. Remember, the ancient ruler of Aquarius is Saturn. So it is structure, but it's different structure. It's non-conventional. It's non-conventional. It's got nothing to do with tradition. It's something that hasn't been done before, right? So it's structure that is going to be, it might be, yeah, it is new and inventive and exciting, but it can be disruptive at times, right? And so for many people, initially, they may be drawn to it and they may feel like, I just got to do this because I got to break free, because that's Aquarius energy. I got to break free. But what happens, and that's the apprehension, I think, the caution and the apprehension, and it hasn't really, I don't know how to explain this to you guys, but just the way things come to me, I don't get a choice, but I have like, I don't know what it is, but the best way to describe it is the pulse of the public, having the pulse, having your finger on the pulse of the public, like you can feel it, right? And then feeling that pulse and getting that a little bit ahead of time, right? And maybe a year ahead of time, maybe two, who the hell knows? We'll see. But my point is, I can feel the apprehension. I can feel that, like, okay, so if I'm in this community, yeah, it's great to have people watch your back. It's great to have neighbors that are brand new, but yet you think you can, get along with. But we all know that a bad neighbor can make life a living hell, right? So my point is, I'm just trying to give a present day. I'm trying to inject my G sense into this of how I can find this totally relatable, totally and completely relatable, because I'm already feeling that apprehension, because I know, yeah, for me, I'm ready to go tiny, absolutely, to have a little bit of space to call my own, because I'm very minimalistic, and so I don't want something. I've never in my life wanted anything ever. Ever. I've never asked anybody. I've never said, I want my own home. I want my own place. I want something I can call my own. I've never said that until I met Incredible Tiny Homes. And then all of a sudden I was like, I like the quality, anyway, I don't want to turn this into like a sales pitch, because that's not what this is about. Okay. But my point is, it was the first time I ever felt drawn to something that would be my own and have my own place, my own space. And something that I could work towards, a reality that felt like it was a possibility. You follow? Because it's small enough and manageable enough, and financially wise, it might be attainable, right? So, I could see where this is a real thing. Totally. So let's get to the rest of his words. God, I hope I remember where I was at. Yeah, in parentheses, the last sentence was, man refuses to accept the type of cultural patterns derived from his society-specific approach to local circumstances and to the universe as a whole. And in another sense, from its particular relationship to the all-human collective unconscious. And in parentheses, he has, the Navy refers to the ocean, symbol of primordial and unconscious evolutionary forces. Okay, thank you. Didn't realize that. Now we know. He not only refuses to obey the orders, he deliberately turns his back on his collective social status. He becomes an outcast. And through this decision, he may definitely individualize his consciousness. There's a few more extra words here at the end, a closing thought. Something with collective social value is being potentially destroyed, but nature is not the destroyer, as in the preceding symbol, degree number 2. If you haven't heard that one, go listen to it. Man, the individual, steps out of his bondage to the collective patterns and ideals. He may thus find himself by means of a sharp renunciation of his social birthright, by a crucial process of desocialization. Yeah. Okay. So this one was like, there's a lot of these that I've read of his, and they seem so crazy, abstracted. It's nuts. This one seems pretty oddly enough, it's an air sign, but oddly enough, it seems pretty down to earth. So I don't think there's much more I have to comment on that. But remember, if you have any comments, if you have something you want to add, I would love, love, love to hear about it, because it's important. That is what this Aquarius energy is all about. Different ideas from unique individuals. Okay. So I will see you in the next part 4, air Aquarius at 4 degrees. Until then, bye-bye. Below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.